What's up, guys and gals? And on this Wednesday, we're going to be talking about the heroes and the half shells themselves, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Now, I absolutely loved watching these guys on the cartoons way back in the day, playing them in the video games, playing them in the arcade. I had a ton of fun. So this IP is very near and dear to my heart, all the way back in the time since I've been a wee little lad. Now, Wednesday is just a time for me as a creative outlet to kind of just cover IPs that I've yet to hit. The veve app that I think would do really, really well. A lot of them are IPs that I'm generally pretty knowledgeable about. If not, then I do a little bit of research talking about why they probably should be on the veve app and just the general popularity of it. Again, this is mostly just kind of creative outlet for me. Part of this is what I do think veve is going to do on the app when these IPs do hit on drop day. But mostly, again, it's just for fun. There's going to be some things that are a bit more nuanced that maybe veve will never do. But again, I'm just having fun with this kind of stuff. So I hope you guys enjoyed the rest of the video. All right, actually wanted to cover some quick cool facts before we get into the fun part. Now, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, also known as, to some of you, Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles, was actually named this in certain regions of Europe because at the time of their release, they believed that the word ninja actually had some sort of negative connotations with violence. So in some regions of Europe, the word ninja was actually replaced with the word hero. So in 1983, American comic book authors Peter Laird and Kevin Eastman actually started the franchise of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but it wasn't until 1984 where they founded Mirage Studios, which is a self-published studio where they made the first edition of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and it was actually a surprising success. The concept of the comic was actually just a parody of several elements in the popular superhero comics industry of the time. Even the term Teenage Mutant is just a parody of the mutants in Uncanny X-Men, the teenagers of the New Teen Titans, and the ninjas of Daredevil. Combine that with the comic tradition of funny animals that occasionally showed up, such as Howard the Duck. All four of the turtles were trained in the ways of ninjutsu, and because of this, both of the artists considered giving them Japanese names, but instead they named them Leonardo, Raphael, Donatello, and Michelangelo after the Italian Renaissance artists. Laird said that the names just felt quirky enough to actually fit the concept. They developed a backstory referencing further elements of Daredevil, whereas Daredevil gained his superpowers through exposure of radioactive material, and said the turtles mutated into humanoid heroes, and of course the turtles' master, Splinter, is just a play on Daredevil's sensei, Stick. Originally, all of the Ninja Turtles actually had red masks, and it wasn't until 1987 where they were given their distinct color-coded masks, catchphrases, love for pizza, and distinct personalities to make it a little bit more acceptable for parents and television networks to actually air their animation show, as well as video games. Now, the Turtles had a lot of success in their early adaptations of both the toys as well as the movies. Between 1987 and 1990, about $1.1 billion worth of Turtle toys were sold in those 4 years, making them the third best-selling toy figures ever at the time, just behind G.I. Joe as well as Star Wars. And in 1990, with their first film adaptation, they were actually the best-selling independent grossing film at that time. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is currently owned by Nickelodeon, Viacom, CBS, and have actually positioned themselves in the top 30 highest grossing media franchises of all time, boasting a $15.4 billion in overall sales, with 13.2 of that coming from merchandise alone. They've actually outpaced some of the biggest IPs such as James Bond, SpongeBob SquarePants, and even Looney Tunes, but they're pretty much on par with other big IPs like The Lion King as well as The Simpsons. Alright, and now for the fun part. Sorry if the art looks a little scuffed, but I did have a lot of fun doing this type of editing. So you open up the veve app and you see that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is the most recently announced IP. You also heard that is going to be a blind box format with 6 different NFTs consisting of 3 different rarities. Let's go ahead and jump inside and take a look. Alright, and here we are, which is the main Ninja Turtles NFT page. Now, I realize the art in some places looks a bit scuffed, but I think you guys get the gist of it. I try to emulate this as much as I could, as close as I could, to the veve app. So we have the logo, as well as here with all the Ninja Turtles. We have the name. It's already got a bunch of talk as well as likes going on, of course. I wasn't sure what to put in the description, so I just put in kind of the abridged lyrics of the late 1980s cartoon. That is the intro of the Ninja Turtles, which I thought was pretty funny. Of course, this is going to be a blind box series, like I mentioned before, consisting of 6 different NFTs, costing 50 gems for the initial entry to purchase one of the blind box ones. And so right here we have the 4 Ninja Turtles. We have Raphael, Leonardo, Michelangelo, as well as Donatello. I realized down here in the bottom right, there's usually not a number there. Usually it's just blank, but I didn't know how else to represent how many NFTs or editions were actually going to be in this drop for that particular NFT, so I just put it there. I put it 1983 or like 983 because that is actually the year that the comic started, or I should say the franchise started, which was 1983. I do know that David Du likes to do those kind of things for his drops, so I ended up doing it here. And I felt like 9,000, or pretty much 10,000 editions felt like a right number. I know a lot of the Unicornos as well as the Mermicornos had about roughly that number of editions as well as multiple commons. So I just kind of emulated that here. And I don't think it's unusual to have multiple commons in a single drop, especially since that the 4 Ninja Turtles, I don't think they're inherently stronger than one another. They're pretty much equal when it comes to, obviously they have different strengths and weaknesses, but I do think they're all equal since they are all brothers and kind of all main plots of the stories that they are in. So we have Raphael, Leonardo, and of course Michelangelo as well as Donatello. Raphael is of course kind of the rebel, hot-headed one of the group, but he is probably the most gifted with his like martial abilities and stuff, at least in my opinion. Leonardo is the leader. He is definitely the one that tries to keep everyone together. He probably is also the one that gets the most frustrated because like none of them get along, but I think as he's kind of grown in wisdom, he's learned to kind of accept that. Michelangelo is obviously the comedic relief. He's always the guy eating the pizza, doing silly things, you know, running and doing silly stuff on his head or a skateboard, whatever it is. He's definitely the youngest one, but has the most fun, it seems. At the end of the day. And of course there's Donatello, who is one of the writer's favorite character. I'm trying to remember which one that was. I think it was Laird. This was his favorite Ninja Turtle that he mentioned personally. So Donatello is the scientist guy. He's always the one that seems to kind of progress the plot. He's always the one that figures everything out. He's the scientist and makes all the inventions and stuff for the group. So again, they're all going to be common, and I think this is going to be a very awesome thing. I also wanted to put the editions pretty high because there will be a lot of people, including myself, that want to get all 4 because, again, this is a band of brothers that do everything together. And these 3D models I did take offline. I will put a description down below, kind of like where I actually got some of these assets. Some of the other ones just look either way too cartoony or way too ridiculous. I did want to kind of show off what level of detail that I think veve could actually pull off with these NFTs. All right, but before we move on, I want to give 2 very quick honorable mentions to both April O'Neil as well as Casey Jones, both very prevalent side characters to the TMNT story, but again, I don't think they are major cornerstones to the entire Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle comic book franchise as well as the movies and stuff like that. They did play a role, but I do think most of the attention is going to be on the 4 Ninja Turtles as well as these next 2 characters, which is going to be absolutely no surprise to any of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle fans out there. It is going to be both Master Splinter as well as Shredder. Now, initially I was going to have Master Splinter be the ultra rare and Shredder be the rare, but it does seem like veve has followed the trend of making the major bad guy be the ultra rare with like Marvel Mighties and Captain America. I think there was another drop they did something similar, so I ended up doing it here. Now, Master Splinter is obviously the one, as I mentioned before, who is the one that actually trained the 4 Ninja Turtles all the way from when they were little turtles growing up to be their radiation-riddled versions of themselves as they are now. So he trained them in the way of ninjutsu, and he is a totally awesome character that I think everyone admires, and he's so full of wisdom. I think you can definitely tell that by watching the shows as well as the movies. Shredder is, I'm not entirely sure, this might be just because of the movie. I'm not entirely sure if this is actually like canon, but I think he's the one that also trained Master Splinter when he was like a young rat, but I could be wrong. Again, doesn't matter because Shredder is the main antagonist for the whole Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle like arc for the most part. He has all of his foot soldiers and stuff that always get in frequent fights with the Ninja Turtles and stuff. So I ended up putting these guys in these 2 spots. I did make Master Splinter 4,983 because again the year 1983, and I did do the 4 just because there's 4 Ninja Turtles. I thought like that kind of symbolism was pretty cool. Master Shredder, there's kind of no reason for the number 3. I just wanted to make it less than the rare, so it just made sense at the end of the day. So yeah. That's pretty much it. I do have a lot of fun, but it does take me a ton of time to do these kind of Wednesdays videos. So I'd really appreciate if you guys would like, subscribe, share, do all that kind of fun stuff. Because if you guys do enjoy more of this kind of content, I would love to hear it down in the comments. And if you guys do have IPs for myself, like if you guys want to suggest IPs for ones that have not hit the veve app just yet, let me know down in the comments below as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Hope you guys take care, and I'll catch you on the flip side.